when the United States and Israel, that first of all, we told you that we said here United States and Israel attacks are coming, and the chances of that not happening was very low, and it did happen. We don't also say that it's going to be unlike any war you have ever seen. The effectiveness of it is going to be unlike any war that you have ever seen. It's going to break all kinds of records, and you saw that it did. But even I didn't expect for Khamenei to die within the first 2 hours of the military operations. So that was pretty impressive and unexpected. We thought it's going to be a challenge, at least a little bit of a challenge, but apparently not. Apparently, every single breath that Khamenei was taking was because the Israelis were showing him mercy, and they could have taken him out anytime they wanted, and they just needed the green light. So that was very. So, I mean, again, I knew that it was going to be impressive, but I was surprised because it was even more impressive than I thought. One thing else that surprised me. Oh, here's actually one important one. One thing that really surprised me is how soon the Iranian people went back into the streets and shouted that Pahlavi will return. So after the scale of the massacre in early January, I kept on saying that the Iranian people have proven that they will always be back. And many people thought that that scale of massacre means that it's over and the Iranian people will never dare come back into the streets and do the same thing again. And I said that if you bet against the Iranian people, you will be wrong. And obviously, they will come back into the streets and they will do the same thing. But even though I was very optimistic about that, it seemed like I wasn't optimistic enough because it took only 40 days for Iranian people to come back and then do the same chance and cross the exact same red lines that they just saw 40 days before the Islamic Republic killing people in such high numbers. And they saw what the consequences of that is, and they still did it. And it's not only they did it in daylight. What they did it early January was under the cover of the night, but 40 days after they came out in daylight and did the same thing, which was unbelievably brave and you know surprising in a nice way. Yeah.
Armin, their king told them to come out, and they did. I would never try and take away what you're feeling right now because I hear you big time, and I would feel the same way. But their king told them to come out.
Yeah, but I added something that I shouldn't have. I said that there's probably nothing will happen to them if the numbers are very high. That's what I added, and I shouldn't have added that. I was wrong about that.
We'll argue with you about it another time. We have a second question in the chat. Who taught Islamists to go individually killing people slash kafirs without a proper group jihad? Because I can't think of it as justification, even in Islamic texts.
Wait, who told Muslims to go kill the kafirun?
Who taught
Oh,
Islamists to go individually killing people
oh,
or to go killing kafirs without a proper group jihad?
oh, without a proper group jihad. I mean, what is the proper group jihad?
Something like suicide bombers, they're asking. Like where is the
Oh,
justification for the text that they can go out on their own and just do these things without being,
right.
directly. They're saying you cannot jihad without khalifa.
I mean, there's nothing in the Quran regarding a caliph. So the so here's the thing: the Quran is specific enough in the worst places and vague enough in the worst places as well, right? So there are certain things that are the core of Islam because the Quran is very, very, very clear about it, and there are areas that you have flexibility because the Quran is very vague about it. So obviously, like for example, that yeah, kafirun, they need to, you need to fight them. You need to fight the kafirun. That is a very clear part of the Quran. And also it's not just the Quran, it's also the hadith, right? So like killing murtads, killing the people who leave Islam, is a very clear part of Islamic teachings, right? When it comes to specifics on how you get to do that and what is okay and what is not, then we have, I mean, when in Sunni Islam you have four different Islamic school of thought, and even within those Islamic school of thoughts, no two scholars get to agree with each other. This is the problem with a scripture, in my opinion, as a whole, because is you could make, I mean, the core is rotten, so you can tell that whatever grows out of it is going to be bad on average, but it's also, it has enough vagueness and flexibility to be able to interpret it in different ways. And sometimes you can actually interpret it in good ways as well, that makes it less harmful in the short term, but also makes it more harmful in the long term. Like, if you give me the Quran and Hadith, I am I have enough creativity to come up with interpretation that makes Islam a really decent and good religion, right? The problem with that is that makes it more dangerous, right? Because if it was so obviously vile, disgusting, and inhuman, it wouldn't last long. This flexibility of being good and being bad at different time means that the evil that is Islam would be longer lasting, because whenever it's on defensive mode, it has the flexibility to be interpreted in a way that is less harmful, and it will live to harm another day. So if you're looking for specifics when it comes to the Quran and Hadith, look, when it comes to the Hadith is very specific in many areas, but when it comes to the Quran itself, there are parts that are very clear and not room for interpretation. But there are many, many, many places that it really depends on how you want to look at it. And even the parts that are clear, Muslims don't agree on even those. So let alone the parts that are vague.
Okay, next is Sapir.
Okay. So I'm just like here with like two updates. Syria has started to move forces to the border with Lebanon, probably because Hezbollah is active. And Erdogan forces from Turkey started to attack Lebanon as well. We have been clashing in the past 4 hours, specifically with Turkey military. So we'll see where that develops. We also got the data from the past few days about how many launches there have been to Israel specifically. So on Saturday, there were 90 missiles coming to Israel from Iran, Sunday 70, yesterday 25, and today 20. Well, now it's 26. The question that I do have, I don't know if you want to answer it here or you want to talk to me in private. It's about the whole situation with Goldie and the email that she received. Like if we need to be worried about that. If like there are a couple of people that asked me, and I'm like not sure
We're
what to
not
tell
gonna.
them.
It's better not to talk about it.
Armin, I saw that hand. Are you looking for a spot on the list, or you had something for here?
No, I want to be added to the list. Thank you. And
Beautiful.
BT,
Okay.
I'm so happy you're on the list. I can't wait to see what you have to say.
Oh, no, it's something I forgot to ask for somebody else at some point. It's just like still in my
Oh.
notes. Is Hila back with us?
Hila.
Thank you.
Yes.
Hi. I just wanted to say to Ali, he asked what we think gonna be a problem. And I don't think any of the reason you said is gonna be a problem. But from what I'm hearing between the lines of many people in Israel, like a Mossad expert and so forth, they are saying that they are afraid that don't take it like in a bad way, but they are afraid that the Iranian people don't have enough discipline, and that they're going out to the streets when they are told not to go, and that maybe they are not in tune and they will not be successful in doing the maneuver. So there is a lot of fear here about that. And also I noticed that the IDF in Farsi doesn't gain more followers. It's only 1.2 million for like a few weeks now. So I'm happy to hear what Armin have to say. Maybe he can help in this situation, because I hear you say a lot in your lives about the idea of Farsi. But I don't know if the Iranian people can connect to that. Maybe the Iranian from outside can connect to that, and just so it will be a feeling that there is a connection between the population and forces.
Okay. So you can mute here. Okay, thank you. So the Iranian people need to be connected to Prince Reza Pahlavi for when the order comes, when for them to go into the streets. The main person they trust and believe in and will follow orders from is Prince Reza Pahlavi. So when the Israelis and Americans have eliminated enough forces of the Islamic Republic for the suppressing power of the Islamic Republic to be reduced enough for it to be time for the Iranian people to come into the streets and take back their country, I'm pretty sure the Americans will call to the Iranian people, and Israelis will also call to the Iranian people to come out. But it's the main person that will have the most effect is Prince Reza Pahlavi's call to action. So you don't need to worry about how much they're following Prince Reza Pahlavi, and Prince Reza Pahlavi is obviously in touch with people from Israel and United States, and he's going to get the signal for them for when is the time to give out the command. When it comes to the level of organization that they have, it's really difficult to come up with it because when if you want to be manage mobilization of the Iranian people, you don't have what the IRGC have. You don't have a central command and the network of communication and all of the things that the IRGC has access to. So they cut the internet and the line. So you're just going based on an order, and then after that, everybody has to figure out what to do based on the area that they're in. So it's difficult. It's not their fault. It's difficult because different parts of people in the city or in the town, they cannot communicate with each other. Every decision that they're making is based on what they could see in front of them rather than the communication that they're having with each other. So if there's a bit messy, it's because of that. It's because of that lack of ability for people. And even if you had that, it would actually, and you can't like tell people to go here at this time and attack that place at that time, because if you make that information public, then the Islamic Republic, the regime forces would know where to go and to where to kill the Iranian people. So it needs to be based on. It's going to be a bit messy, a lot, very messy, because it's going to be based on the wisdom of the crowd, based on what you're observing on the ground as it's happening. There's no way to tell people to go at this point at this time, go over there, because then the Islamic Republic knows exactly how to suppress them. And so this is what makes everything very difficult. But the thing is that the only thing we could count on is a high number of Iranian people who will show up, right? So, given that the Iranian people showed up in the millions when the Islamic Republic was still in power, some people are confident that they will show up in the millions again once the suppressing forces of the Islamic Republic is not there, right? And you're showing concern that why are the Iranian people coming out right now, given that they're supposed to stay home right now because they're celebrating Khamenei's death. That is a concern, but it shows that once they're given the order, then they're going to come out in much higher numbers, given that they can't. I mean, if you're having a hard time telling them to stay in, then imagine what happens when you tell them to come out, right? So I understand your concern, and I'm concerned as well. But the silver lining is that they can't wait to get out. And honestly, even if it's unorganized, if their suppressing forces have been weakened enough, and if the Iranian people come back into the streets in the millions again, this might be what we exactly need. And remember, many Iranian people are coming out this time to kill, based on the level of massacre that they had to experience by the hands of the Islamic Republic. So many, in the past 40, 50 days or so, many Iranian people have been strategizing regarding exactly who they're going to go after and how they're going to take out their enemies, because they want revenge. So this might get really, we'll see, we'll see. It might get chaotic, but we'll see what happens.
Trump, I heard that Trump is the one that wants to give people weapons, so he's counting on these groups, but I feel like it's a scary move. But yeah.
I haven't heard him. I think what they're talking about is people within the regime who have weapon joining the people rather than just handing weapons to the Iranian people. I think that's what we're talking about. I haven't heard
The
giving
rumors,
weapons directly to that.
this is just rumors. We didn't hear Trump
Rumor.
say it, but the rumors
Okay.
here are saying it for sure.
So let's wait on that, because it needs to be confirmed before we could talk about that. Okay.
Okay, as a reminder, we have about 18 minutes left. So next, very briefly, you can give like a very brief. I'm not sure if I asked this question previously, but it was still in my notes, so I want to make sure we cover it for that person. Did the SAVAK work directly under the Shah or as an independent organization?
Okay, so I know they worked under the Shah, but I also know because the Shah was the person that managed to also close them down when he wanted to when under international pressure. So my understanding is that they work under the Shah, but I also know that they I specifically remember a phone call between the Shah and the SAVAK where the Shah was arguing against the SAVAK, asking for certain political prisoners to be released, and the SAVAK leader on the other side telling the Shah that the Shah is saying, "Your Highness, you don't have the authority to free these people." So I don't exactly know how that works, and why would the SAVAK person say that to the Shah? So that suggests to me that there must have been some level of autonomy if he dared tell the king such a thing, but I am not very aware of much exactly how that worked out. But yeah, we could talk about this after the revolution.
That made it even more exciting.
Yeah.
Okay, next up we have Zal.
Hey guys. So I just
Hello.
wanted to talk briefly about everybody's freaking out about the fact that Trump came out and he was like, "Oh, whatever, he's a nice person, but I don't know." So I think I have an input that I haven't seen people talk about. The thing that Goldie and Armin talked about on before Armin got on was that, oh, Trump's just saying that because